Hola, hola! I wanted to make a quick video for you guys to show you one of my favorite tools to use online while you're doing your work for Spanish. This online dictionary is a website called SpanishDict.com. It's by far my favorite tool. So I wanted to show you two really cool things. Um, Up here on, if you click on the left-hand side at the top where it says menu, there's two tools I want to show you today. The first one is the translation tool. So I'm going to click there. It's actually the same page that I'm already on. And it's called, they've named it the translation tool, but it's actually not a translator as you might think of a translator. It's more of a dictionary. So if you want to look up a word in English and see what the Spanish equivalent is, that's what this is for. Or if you see a word in Spanish and you don't know what it means and you want to know what it is in English, then that's what this is for. It can do English to Spanish or Spanish to English, and it's awesome. So if we saw the word caballo and we didn't know what it meant, we could type it in to that field or copy and paste if you're looking online. And my computer's running a little bit slow. But we type it in and then we hit translate and it will give you what it means in English. And I really like it because it will give you examples as well. So here you can tell that this totally looks just like a dictionary. If we scroll down, if it will let me, you can see, sorry, it's just so slow, that it gives you different uses of the word horse, and there's sentences in Spanish that show you how that word or that version of horse can be used. So it's really awesome. I want to show you how to look up a word in English. So let's look up horse, but this time we're going to type it in English because we don't know what the Spanish version is. And we'll hit translate. Now this time it's going to give us the Spanish word for horse. And it's awesome because if you obviously, if you don't know that word, then you're not going to know how to pronounce it probably. And so that's why this is so nice because you can hit this audio button and it will pronounce the word for you. And they do an excellent job. This is a really great resource for learning pronunciation. I also really love when I look up words on here. I love that it tells you whether it's masculine or feminine, because that's a really big deal in Spanish. So we can see from this word that it's masculine, right? And singular because it has the L. And then I love that it gives examples here. And if you keep on, there's even more usages, which is so nice. So that's why this is one of my favorite resources. Let me show you the other tab now that I love. So if you click up on the menu again, click on conjugation. And to this day, I use the conjugation tool on here because there are a lot of irregular verbs in Spanish and you have to memorize them and you have to learn them. And there's words that I still like to double check every once in a while. So this tool works a little bit differently. This is for verbs. This is a conjugation tool. So let's type in a verb, maybe the verb comer. If it will type it in for us. And what's going to happen is we are going to type our verb in here. We'll click the conjugate button and it will show us all of the different conjugations for this verb. We'll give it just a sec. There's some ads on this website, which is kind of a bummer, and I think that's what's causing it to load slower. But it's worth the wait. Okay, so here we have our verb comer. We can see the pronunciation right here. And then here we have our conjugation chart. So it looks a little bit different than that, you know, the kind of T chart that you might be used to seeing. Oh, let's scroll up a little bit. But all the same information is here. So you can see on that far left side, it gives you all of the different pronouns, all of the different people that you conjugate verbs for. So you see yo, right? I, you, he, she, or you, formal, we, you, all, you guys, and then they, right? The masculine and the feminine form, or you all also. So this is probably useful features here. If you ever have a verb that you don't know, you should check it. You should check it out on here. So for Spanish 1 students, you're going to be using this indicative chart exclusively. We work only with the present tense, so this very first column. So keep that in mind because we haven't learned past tense yet. We haven't learned the imperfect or the conditional or the future, you know, those other columns that you see on there. We haven't learned those in Spanish 1. So make sure that you're always looking on the indicative table and then you're looking at the present tense conjugation forms. In Spanish 2 students learn the preterite and the imperfect, and eventually the future, and then Spanish 3 goes even further than that. So Spanish 3 students using this indicative table, also the subjunctive table that you see down here. So it's really great. I suggest, you know, if you're not familiar with your verbs, if you're still trying to memorize them, definitely come here and use this tool. The other thing that I like is if you have typed in an irregular verb, let's see if we can do another one really fast. Let's do the verb tener. So when we conjugate this one, if you've used the verb tener before, hopefully you're a little bit familiar with it, then you know that it's conjugated a little bit differently. And so the nice thing about this website is it highlights those differences in red. So it really catches your attention. It helps you remember. So you can see as the chart rises a little bit on my screen that there are red letters. So it's a really great way to learn your verbs, to help you memorize your verbs, and to always double check them if you're not sure. And the other nice thing is for Spanish 2 students and Spanish 3 students, you have to remember to put the accents on your letters, and sometimes we have a hard time typing them, I guess. And so if you have a hard time typing the accented letters, then you could always just come here, highlight it, hit Control C or the right click and hit copy, and then paste it into whatever you're typing. So if you're not good at typing the accents, this is another option you could do to get those accents over your letters so that you get full credit for everything that you're writing. So anyway, this is one of my favorite tools. Thanks for checking it out with me, and let me know if you have any questions or need help with anything. Gracias!